Hi, welcome. Carolyn here, therapist and thanatologist. So I want to just share an anecdote from my work when I was in hospice. In my other videos, I talked about our death system and thanatology, and I hope that that didn't sound too academic. So I'm going to apply that to real life. So when I first started early on working in hospice, when I first got my own clients after I was when I was an intern, I had my own clients too because I was an intern in hospice and then I got hired. And I'll never forget the first time I worked with a family when it was a caregiver. Her mom came onto hospice already imminently dying or actively dying. So this means that we know she only had a few days to live. She wasn't speaking, she wasn't eating or drinking, right? We knew it was imminently happening that she would die. And the social worker does a full biopsychosocial, spiritual, financial, but when someone's actively dying, it's a lot shorter, right? Usually we want to know who's in the home, what are the systems that they have in place, who are the support systems. And when you're a hospice social worker, your assessment skills, I always say to social workers, if you want to get good assessment skills, do home hospice. You're really thrown in a lot of these situations. So I got there, mom was already dying, and she knew and she was somewhat prepared. So I had to get in and both do my biopsychosocial, spiritual, financial assessment and talk about funeral planning, which we often do, but really make sure she knew what to do at the death event and that she was prepared to support mom at end of life right now. Usually that's a conversation we have a little bit later. So it was a lot for a new social worker. And I did my best. And I saw her, I believe, twice. And all of the support was for the caregiver because, as I say, social workers, we support the people who support the patients often. A lot of it, the work we do is for the caregivers and for the families because the patients are already nonverbal or maybe they had had dementia or something like that. So I saw this woman, the first one, the caregiver, was my biopsychosocial spiritual. And in that, we do connect, we bond with people. Hopefully, we earn their trust. And then I came back probably the next day because in hospice, you're supposed to get a visit from a team member every day. So after her mom died, I did what's called the condolence call. Sometimes we go in person, but not as much, or not as much as I wish we could. But we have to do a call, and we also follow up. How are you doing? I actually think I was in person for this one. And I'll never forget what she said to me. I only saw her twice. And she looked at me, and I'm getting teary saying this. But I was new to hospice and I didn't know. And she said to me, you helped me. I couldn't have done this without you. You were really helpful. And it was really surprising because I had no idea. I really didn't understand the power of how I was able to support her. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I followed what I had learned, what I had been taught, what I had learned in social work school as an intern, my supervisor. Of course, I'm very compassionate, work very compassionately with my patients and my caregivers, and of course, my clients now. This work comes from my heart. But it was just so surprising that I only met her twice in my whole life. And she said that I had helped her really so much. And this was, I think for her, this was the hardest thing she'd ever been through. This was a family who was middle class, financially secure. They had a lot of support systems in place. So she hadn't had that many challenges in her life, but taking care of her dying mother at home was maybe one of the hardest things she'd ever done. And anyway, so to know that I had supported her was a little bit like magic. And this is thanatology, and this is our death system working. We have the system in place, and it actually worked. So again, it's not just academic, and it's not just words we're saying. These are ways that we really are delivering care to people that they really need at this vulnerable time. So, yeah, so I wanted to share that story. Thank you for listening. I hope you'll join me either in my online course or in person here in Brooklyn to learn more. Thank you.